On land, where pioneers once traveled, pioneers of a different kind are ready to explore new territory. These pioneers of extreme entertainment are willing to leave tracks where no other roller coaster has ever gone. Successfully, that is.
It's a game changer from a technology standpoint.
Wood coasters have been around for a really long time. Outlaw Run takes wood coasters to a whole other playing field.
We're able to invert, we're able to put more forces on the track, we're able to have a steeper drop. It's just unheard of to be able to do this.
(2012). The largest wooden roller coaster ever built lays in helpless pieces. When Son of Beast opened 12 years prior, it was heralded as the first modern wooden roller coaster to do things only steel coasters could do before, like going upside down. But when structural issues plagued the ride's short life, many thought the wooden coaster would be returned to a life of tradition.
This was a very risky investment for us. This technology has never been used on an all-new ride, and it's on me if the risk doesn't work.
$10.5 million investment for any company is significant. We don't take our investments lightly.
Since they closed down Son of Beast at Kings Island, we will be the only wooden coaster going upside down.
Herschend Family Entertainment may have never been pegged as a future powerhouse in amusement park innovation. Its humble beginnings in 1960 saw a cave tour in Branson, Missouri become a thriving theme park known as Silver Dollar City, and that one tourist attraction multiply into attractions around the country, the largest family-owned theme park chain in America.
We have 26 properties, only about 15 of them take capital. So it always starts out with, where do we need to put the capital to drive the best return, the best attendance? And in this case, Silver Dollar City's year was coming up.
In 2003, founders Jack and Pete asked Joel Manby to lead the company forward as CEO.
The park was so good for empty nesters and second honeymooners, we really needed to expand its appeal to the teenager and the young child.
To expand those demographics, Joel looked to continue on a decade-old track of major thrill attractions like Wildfire, a multi-looping steel coaster, and Powder Keg, a steel compressed air launch coaster, all centering around the park's 1880s theme.
And so when we do those, we do them in a way that's heavily themed, but also back parts of the park so we don't destroy the integrity and the feel of the central Silver Dollar City Village. We always hope to carry on the legacy that Jack and Pete put into place. It's a huge challenge and probably the thing that intimidates me the most as the leader. Jack and Pete have done such a great job building a very unique property, and we don't want to hurt that uniqueness.
To Brad Thomas, Silver Dollar City's general manager, the next step became clear.
About 3 to 5 years ago, we started looking at 2013 as a great year to invest for Silver Dollar City. We had several components that we tested, several different additions that we would test, and the wood coaster concept out-tested anything else that we were considering. We then went to coaster manufacturers and asked them to help us create a coaster that would cause families from Dallas to Chicago to want to drive to Branson, Missouri.
For Fred Grubb, revolutionizing the theme park industry was never the original intent.
Well, I was working for a company in Seattle building zoo exhibit type work. We went to a park called Silverwood Theme Park. We did some artificial rock work and some artwork for them on a whitewater raft ride, and we helped construct the raft ride. At that point, Silverwood asked me if I'd stay there and work. The following season, they wanted to build a roller coaster, so I said, well, sure, why not? You can build square things or you can build this.
Soon, parks around the U.S. were asking Fred for help constructing their own new wooden coasters and maintaining their old ones. That's when Fred founded Rocky Mountain Construction to repair existing coasters with a unique low-maintenance track called the Topper Track, a pre-fabricated system designed for low maintenance for the parks and high comfort for the riders. Then, Fred and his team decided to try their hand at completely reimagining an existing ride, the Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas, in 2011.
Our first track that we put in, full track, was on the Texas Giant. It's what we call our I-box track, and it's an all-steel track. The topper track here is the same technology, only we have used a laminated wood stack, wood beam, built up underneath the box beam on top. The differences are this is considered a wood coaster, the I-box is considered a steel coaster, but the technologies are the same.
Fred wanted to use the topper track for the first time on an entirely new ride, but Hershend and Silver Dollar City needed to be sold on the idea first.
Silver Dollar City asked us to come down and promote what we had to offer. We were in competition with the other companies. We came up with some design and some elements that we're going to put into the coaster. They came to our facilities in Idaho.
Then, they experienced Fred's work for themselves.
We went to the Texas Giant. They rode the Texas Giant. It was at that point when they said, let's go for it.
Rocky Mountain came up with the concepts, and that's what sold us on Rocky Mountain Coaster. The fact that they were able to deliver in the past some pretty amazing rides like Texas Giant.
We were looking at a lot of different options. It wasn't just Rocky Mountain coasters. For me, it was the world first. To be the first wooden coaster to ever do a double barrel roll, the steepest drop in the world.
But what would ensure that the coaster wouldn't become another Son of Beast?
After the Texas Giant was built, we knew, hey, we can go upside down. We can do this. It's just a matter of time. Barrel rolls, overbank turns, all the elements that we're putting in. We have learned that, okay, the track will take it, we're good. And yeah, you're gonna have a lot of naysayers out there, but if you have the right team, you have the right product, you have the right customer, it can be done.
The engineering of this ride is very different than Son of Beast. There's always risk in business. I'm very confident we can solve any issues that we confront with this one.
As if multiple inversions and the steepest wooden coaster drop in the world weren't enough of a challenge, Fred would be working with the park's team on one of the most difficult construction sites imaginable.
Rocky Mountain Coaster came up with the overall design, and then working with our construction folks figured out how to place those elements in the exact terrain. Unlike a lot of different sections of the country where you have soil and you have flat land, in the Ozarks we don't have flat land and we don't have a lot of soil. You get much past 1/4 of an inch and you hit solid rock. There's not a lot of things that we build here that are easily built.
Another challenge was we wanted to leave all of the foliage in the trees, so we had to work around that. Working on the steep hillsides, that was another challenge. Alan Schelke, he's the design engineer. He has used the terrain to our benefit.
Even though it was difficult, even though it was challenging, and even though our construction crews dealt with 100+ degree weather all of last summer, we knew that we would end up with a world-class coaster. So that made it all worthwhile, and I think kept causing folks to keep on persevering even when they hit some snags.
While the ride rose out of the Missouri hills, Hershend and Silver Dollar City still needed to finalize a theme and name to market the new ride.
We considered several different names, but Outlaw Run just kind of felt good to us. We also knew that a wood coaster would fit real nicely into a theme of a Western stagecoach type of storyline. So we created the storyline, which basically is the stagecoach depot, and is out on the outskirts of Silver Dollar City. And from that stagecoach depot, every day stagecoaches depart heading westward. It could be families going out to visit a family member that's already gone west, or it may be an entire family packing up all of their worldly possessions and then actually moving to Utah or Colorado. As those stagecoaches were departing, these outlaws started emerging and taking some of those possessions. But the good citizens of Silver Dollar City, they banded together. They got all kinds of lawmen and women from around the country to come in and help them get control of these hills, and they hired really fast stagecoach drivers that would take those stagecoaches out of Silver Dollar City really fast.
There were a couple interesting marketing issues with this ride. We're always about wholesome family entertainment. We will never do anything to violate a mother's trust in what we offer. Calling something Outlaw Run, we didn't want to glorify outlaws, so we were very careful in that the good guys always win in this. The law enforcement's more glorified than the outlaw. Our original logo, the outlaw had guns, and we decided to can the guns, keep the horse riding fast. Just with all the gun issues out there today, we didn't need that.
And we have a statement that we're boldly saying, the good guys always win at Silver Dollar City. The villain is not the hero on this ride. And that's a part of who we are as a culture. That's a part of who we want to be. And we want kids that visit Silver Dollar City to aspire to be the good guy. That's not new. That's where we've been since we opened May 1st, 1960.
But would the ride be a winner as well?
It's always nerve-wracking. You test and you have accelerometer tests that say, okay, it matches up to the forces that it's designed for. But still, there's always that little bit of wonder. We took the first ride, we hopped in the front car. We went over the hill, down through the valley. We rode that, we came in, and we both sat there, and we knew we had a winner. It was so exciting, it was hard to explain to the other guys standing next to us. We said, hop in, you gotta try this.
I rode the ride when it was first going around. It wasn't quite to speed. And that was quite fun and quite exhilarating because, it's fun when it's at a high speed. When it was at the low speed, you're just basically anxious to get through the double barrel roll.
All the planning that goes into it, all the review meetings, and all the decisions you had to make along the way. The cost cuts in some areas and adding money in others. There's just a lot that goes into it. So when you get here and you're sitting in that car, there's so much anticipation. You go up and it's clicking, and even though I knew what was going to come, because I had seen it, I've seen it designed, I've seen the camera on the cars when they were just water dummies, there's nothing like going down that first time. It's an incredible thrill, and it really does grip you. You go down that 81-degree drop, and the most amazing thing about the ride to me is the middle, which I wasn't sure how great it was going to be when you do the 153-degree turn out, and then you come right back. I actually thought that was even more thrilling than the double barrel roll at the end.
The experience begins at the back reaches of Silver Dollar City's 60 developed acres. As guests make their way through the line to their stagecoach, it becomes apparent that time is of the essence when it comes to escaping the Outlaws. 24 travelers board one of Rocky Mountain's custom-engineered trains and get ready to head west, securing mere lower body restraints. From the station, a dip and bend to the right connect riders with the lift hill, a 107-foot climb above Branson via one of the speediest wooden coaster chain lifts in the world. Soon, the train will be rocketing down an 81-degree drop at 68 miles an hour. Just beyond the top, a quick dip and climb into the first drop propels riders out of their seats as they descend 162 feet down a natural hillside, straight into a 153-degree outside bank turn. A left bank, hop, and right bank lead riders back up the hillside, straight over another airtime hop, and banking heavily under the lift. Now, it's time for the wave turn for some lateral and negative G-forces. Another quick hop, and the grand finale, the double barrel roll, to wrap up a 2,937-foot journey.
Based upon our financials, our attendance, customer scores, we then start understanding, was this ride successful or was it not?
I will know Outlaw runs a success based on the turnstiles. We put $10 million in. Our bogey is we like to get about a 20% return on our investment, so we're hoping to get $2 million in incremental EBITDA on whatever we did last year to pay for it. And I know the turnstiles are going to turn.
We've had a big press day here yesterday. Outside people rode it for the first time. From the comfort of the cars to the ride itself, we didn't have one complaint anywhere.
Even people who might be afraid of some other wooden coasters because of how much they rattle and shake, they need to ride this ride because it's smoother out of the block than anything I've ever seen.
And Silver Dollar City hopes the rideability factor furthers the park's mission.
If I were to describe this ride, I would just use two words: family fun. It's enough of exhilaration and adrenaline that mom and dad and the kids are going to have a blast, but also not so much so that it terrifies folks to where they don't want to ride. And we want families to experience fun together.
Everything we do, we think through, how are we going to be satisfying a multi-generational family that wants to come here as a family and enjoy, hopefully, the best day of their year.
To Joel, innovations like Outlaw Run bring some of the greatest rewards.
I remember 3 years ago where we sat in that room and we said, are we going to take kind of risk to do all new technology at our kind of smaller company? The fact that we did it, it's a very, very gratifying day. We don't have to be an innovation leader to do really well, but it's really gratifying when we are.
As Outlaw Run ushers in a new era for the wooden roller coaster, Fred sees no end in sight for the new possibilities.
There isn't anything that we are not going to do with the wooden roller coasters. We have a lot of things in development right now that go above and beyond what anybody has thought of. To all those that have told us that it can't be done, it shouldn't be done, the proof is here.